Yay! Hello, everybody. Chill reading sprints. That just doing. Kind of just wanted to do them because I start uni again on Monday, and I wanted just to get as much reading in as I can before I have to actually concentrate. If everyone wants to introduce themselves and say what they're reading, starting from Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly. My YouTube channel is Mind of Molly, and I'm going to be reading Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland, which is mine and Lily's book club pick for March.
Hello, my name is Lily. My channel is Lily Eleanor Reads. The theme whenever I'm on reading sprints is that I don't have a physical copy to hold up, and I'm keeping going with that. But I'll be reading on my Kindle We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi, which is like a book from NetGalley that I have, and it's good so far.
Cool. I'm Dee from The Heron's Corner, and today I'm going to be reading Loads from Shola von Reinhold. And I don't know how to describe this book. It's such a weird book, but I'm enjoying it so far. I have the last 100 pages, so I'm hoping to get through them in these sprints.
What is it, fiction, non-fiction? I've never heard of it.
Like adult fiction, and it's basically dark academia, but I don't understand the academia that's in the book, so it's hard to read about. But it's all right. It's interesting. It's very interesting. But yeah.
Dee, the fact that I was just about to ask you if you had a channel, and your Twitter name's literally Dee has a booktube channel.
I don't know what else to put in there. I haven't changed it so long.
But also, congrats on 800 subscribers, dude.
Oh, has it hit 800?
Yeah, we're on 801 now.
Oh wow! Yay! I just kept seeing it was close to that mark, but if I keep looking at it, it won't go up. So let me just do something else. But yay! Thanks, guys.
All right.
So I'm Mel. You should know that if you're here, I'm assuming. And I'm going to be finishing Dissolve in Classroom by Junji Ito, which is a horror manga. I started it today, and then I will continue on with Legendborn by Tracy Dion, which I also started today. Excited to read them both. Hello, everyone. Saying hi. Hi. Hello. So yeah, I think we should just wait for a few people. I think we'll start our first sprint at quarter past, and then do a 45-minute one, if that sounds all right.
Sounds good.
I'll join that structure in one of Molly's channels. Live sounds good. Yes, go subscribe to Dee. They're great.
Thank you if you do. You don't have to, but
I found your channel. No, you found my channel, and then I went to your channel, and I was like, oh my god, I need to binge all her stuff, because she's fairly new. So she started in January, wasn't it?
Yeah, just January this year.
And
it's been fun.
They're great. And you read smart books as well, so it's the kind of booktube channel where I sit there and I'm like, wish I was smart.
That half the books is because I'm just starting to do adult fiction now and adult contemporary, so it feels at the beginning of every book there is kind of it's not I have to push myself through it, but it's I know it's not what I'm used to, so it's okay, keep going, you will enjoy it in the end, and I usually do now, so that's great.
I've been doing the same. I've gotten into adult fiction in the last year or so, and I'm the same. When I start it, I'm oof, and then as I go, I'm no, this is great. I just need to read the first 50 pages. Get into it.
I think that's why it scares me. There's so many adult books where I'm it sounds interesting, but I'm scared.
I find a lot of the time though I start them thinking it's going to be intimidating, and then I'm reading it and I'm this isn't as dense as I thought it was going to be, or this isn't intimidating as what I thought it was going to be.
I feel it's one of those things where when you're 13, they're getting you to read all these classics and stuff, and so that's what you think all books are. And instead when you're 13, they should just get you to read YA and just enjoy the books that you have to analyze. So
That's the when
Oh,
that happens.
God.
No. I would hate that. I love coffee. Coffee's expensive too, and I always end up buying it. I have to buy loads of it because there's 3 of us in this house, so it's like constantly buying it. It's just annoying. But we don't get beans. We get ground coffee because we're poor students who don't have any money.
Now my favorite choice is like just lemons in water. So I just like cut up like some lemon slices and put them in hot water, and like I'm good to go. Like that is my coffee. That's how I start my day.
It's probably better for you, to be fair, because caffeine, like, I get really addicted to coffee, especially in like lockdown. There's nothing else to do, so like I'll just go make a coffee, and it's like I've already had like 3 today. Like, why am I?
I try not to like. I try to only drink coffee when I'm really tired. I didn't drink coffee at all when I was a student, but now I just like pinch my parents. Like if I'm really tired and need like a boost, I try to just have it like if I have like work and I'm like really tired and I've got like a long day. There's been a few days in lockdown where I'm like, I did not sleep last night. I need coffee.
Do you work in the Waterstones with like a Costa?
No, but there is a Costa right next door, so I don't get the discount. But there is a Costa like literally like next door.
Lily's is too small.
Yeah, mine's a little Waterstones. Yeah, but I'm not meant to like. I get coffee sometimes. I try not to have it like all the time because I don't think you're meant to have it on the shop floor. So then we just drink it in the staff room and then down it.
We have a lot. I work in a pub and we have we have a coffee machine. We barely use it, so it's mostly the workers who use it because we're doing like shifts and we're just like really tired. And like when I have like a morning shift and there's actually no one in the pub, I just sit there just drinking loads of coffee, just free coffee that I get.
Yeah. When I go and work at the bigger, like, because when you work at Waterstones, you like sometimes go to different branches. So when I go to like the big one in town, that has like a cafe, like I know when we've had snow days, like the cafe staff literally will be like, "I'm making you a coffee because I'm bored." And I'm like, okay. So that's great.
There's a girl at our work, and like most of us will just make it, but like a girl at our work, she like literally goes round if she has like a few minutes and will take everyone's orders.
Aww.
And is like, I'm gonna make it like so fancy, and I'm like, and so I love when I'm on shift with her because then it's like I know I'm gonna get a good coffee, you know.
That's one of the things when I go to work at the big one is I'm always like
always here to provide. So we'll start our first sprint in like 5 minutes. So it's letting people drop by. Surprised Maria's not commented yet. I might message her, remind her that this is on.
Sorry. I was like, Maria's still ready. Then she's like, oh, let me message Maria.
Maria's my sister, by the way, if anyone doesn't know. Oh my god. Wait. I'll put it in the family group chat because my mum wanted to come as well. Because my mum's trying to read and she just doesn't know how to read.
I love that your mum joined the reading sprint.
I did too. I really loved it on your birthday when your whole family came in.
Yeah.
That was a great time. Like your dad literally commented like once. And that was it.
Oh, Nazi crosses. I've never read that.
That's by Mallory Blackman, right? I've not read it.
Yeah. I'm planning to read that soon actually because I just want to read like a lot of like backlists for like authors, like Black British authors. So like Mallory Blackman's like right up there. So I need to like buy over books first. I feel like a lot of people have like read that series.
Yeah,
like
I read it when I was like 13. It was like one of my first YA books. I loved it when I was 13. I haven't read it since when I was younger.
It's like slightly dystopian, isn't it? Like
yeah, so it's more like an alternate history kind of book. It's like set in present day, but it's if Africa colonized Europe. So it's like basically like race dynamics are flipped, and it's her like commenting on modern racism.
You see, I didn't know about that aspect of it. I just heard general concepts, and I was like, that sounds a bit like it's disregarding a whole history of the world. Like, not to like just assume things about her, but like it just never appealed to me. And then I read when I was like in year 8, Pig Heart Boy, which is one of her other books.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one. Like I had to read it for class, and I was like, this is not interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that aspect was in it. So I feel like maybe if Dee likes it, I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen like a lot of like mixed things about it, but it's usually from like because I feel like a lot of people in like Britain like love it, and then I think it's like a lot of Americans are like, this sounds a little bit like, I don't know. I've just seen about a lot of my TL, but yeah, I want to read it and see just what I think about it, like investigating. Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those books though where it's like, if push comes to shove, it did a lot for UKYA, and it's like, in terms of like, you can't like disregard the fact that it was like such a staple, and like Mallory Blackman in terms of like Black British writers is such a staple in terms of kids lit. It's just like, you have to just appreciate what she's been doing for like the genre. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Claire likes it. So.
No, that was the Love Square.
Oh, the Love Square.
Yeah, I finished the Love Square early, and now I'm reading Noughts and Crosses.
Yeah.
Ah, see, I think I've got that on my Kindle as well. I need to read that. House of Leaves.
Don't talk to me about it.
God bless.
Oh,
We made the executive decision yesterday to DNF it, and I've not been in a reading mood since.
Oh my God bless you.
I'm like, I mean, it made me cry, but that's not like the book's fault. Like, it's not because it's a bad book, it's just hella confusing, and I'm dyslexic, and it was setting it off so badly. I made it over 100 pages though. I'm just proud of that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. The more I was reading it, my brain was going, if you read any more of this, you're never going to want to read ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Like, I just don't know what it's about. Like, I feel like no one's giving me like a coherent summary of like what the book's
the
about.
only thing that anyone knows is it's basically about a house that is larger on the inside than what it's supposed to be on the outside. But what they don't tell you is that it starts off fine, and then there just a hallway appears, and then it's called the 5-minute hallway, and then it just grows and grows and grows, and then like loads of it's no, I don't want to discuss it anymore.
Well, that's the thing about it, is that I'd never actually heard the synopsis. I just knew that it was written in a really weird way that like really confused people.
Yeah, it's one of those books that people don't talk about what it's about. They just talk about like the gimmicky parts of it, where they're like, "Oh, it does this." It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
The Maya and the Nightbirds, I want to read that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to read The House in the Spring and see.
It's so expensive though to like get in the UK.
Yeah, like before Christmas, it was on Amazon all the time, and then I think it just probably sold out during Christmas.
Yeah.
I need the paperback's available.
Is the paperback available now?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's still £12. Don't get me wrong, but it's available.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for a paperback.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing we can get of it now. We don't have much of a choice.
They're an ebook.
I hate it when they do that, when they're like, yeah, you could have had the hardback, but we don't sell it for you anymore.
Yeah.
Maria's got the hardback, so I'm really jealous of her.
Need to get her to send it to me
as well. Finished reading Divergent. Interesting.
Oh wow!
I never finished that series.
Yeah,
I got
the first book.
I didn't really like
the first two, and then the second book I couldn't get through. I was like, what the hell's going on? This is boring, this is stupid. And then I accidentally spoiled myself because I looked up fan fiction and it just told me what happened at the end. I was like, well, I'm not going to read it now. I'm like, that's stupid.
I have to say, one of my favorite videos for ages was, I can't remember who it was, but someone did like a drunk, like they were actually drunk, like reasons why Allegiant was like a bad ending or something, and it was like it was so funny.
Like when I think I watched the film before, and when I found out the end, like I was like, Like, I'm not even going to bother reading
Yeah.
that one.
The film Insurgent made me realise I had a massive crush on Shailene Woodley. And then for like a year, I was seriously obsessed with her. And I just watched everything that she was in. I saved 1 billion pictures of her onto my phone. I would not shut up about her. It was bad. Like, it was a bad... Like, I walked out of the cinema and I was like, I'm in love. Like, you guys can't stop me. Like, we're going to get married.
What is she doing now? Do you know? Like, what projects she's in now?
She just did one with Bucky from...
Oh, she does know.
Right.
Mel's still keeping up to date. She's like,
I do.
what's my gal up to?
But she did, yeah, she's just done a film with Bucky and Mr. Grey. I don't know the actor's names. Sebastian Stan, that's what he's called. And then the Irish guy from 50 Shades of Grey. And then...
Oh. When you were saying Bucky and Mr. Grey, I was like, what?
No, Bucky's on Marvel.
But I don't really watch Marvel movies, so my brain just didn't click. I was just like, I know who Bucky is, but like, my brain doesn't go to that. So I was like, Bucky.
Yeah. And then now she does like, I think she's doing some sort of like charity project thing in some third world country. I don't know. She does loads of stuff in like third world countries to be like helping people, and like she did a few years ago the protest against the pipeline in America.
Yeah, I remember.
And like she got arrested for that, which I was like, she live streamed it on Facebook, and I was like, these guys are arresting her for nothing. Like,
yeah,
leave her alone.
I remember her getting arrested for when she was protesting Standing Rock. Yeah,
she was really good about it as well. She literally just stood there like, they're arresting me.
Yeah,
like I'm just peaceful protesting. It's like,
yeah,
thank you. Akama, we stand on this channel. We love it so much. Hey, crazy stupid bromance. I've never heard of that.
It's in the Bromance Book Club series. I don't know if it's the second one. If it is the second one, I've never read it.
Let me see. I don't know if I'm going to read it or not. I do want to read that series. I feel like I want to, but it's also one of those ones where it's like, if I get a chance to, I will, but if not.
See, I never continued it because I liked the first one, don't get me wrong. I gave it 3 stars, but my biggest pet peeve in it was the main character's sister. And then everyone was like, oh, don't read the second book then because that's who it follows. And I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, I hate when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of dodgy things about the second book.
Oh, can't
Tell me what.
Okay, but this was my thing when I first read Divergent. I was like, I remember reading it and I was like, are you telling me they have like one personality trait? I was like,
yeah.
It just didn't.
I remember like, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I read the books because I liked the film, and I liked the film more than I liked the Hunger Games. So like, I was always a Divergent kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was I liked.
You can more than the Hunger.
Right. Sorry,
I'm off this.
I think we can establish that a lot of my choices in life are based on who I have a crush on, and we can say I had a crush on Shailene Woodley and not on Jennifer Lawrence.
But you didn't like Jennifer Lawrence, yeah, fair.
That's fair.
So I didn't have a crush on anyone in the Hunger Games, so why would I want to watch it? Like,
I did, and still do to this day.
On who?
Josh Hutcherson will forever be the love of my life. I don't care what anyone says. He's my guilty pleasure.
Have you watched Jenny Nicholson's video where she reads Josh Hutcherson fan fiction? Yeah. I love that video. It's the best video.
Also, like, I did a Mel, to be fair, where I was like, oh, I have to watch everything you're in now. So one of my favourite films ever is Red Dawn, which has Chris Hemsworth, Josh Peck, and Josh Hutcherson. It's a great film.
My friend would always...
I watch it for the plot.
My friend would always just talk about how square his jaw was. Like, she was just like, it's just so square. I can't, like, she didn't have a crush on him. She just was, like, fascinated by how square his jaw was.
It's just so square.
Like, she was just talking about it all the time. She's like, I just don't get it.
He is a very, like, square person.
He is, yeah.
Like, he is.
I was gonna say it was really emphasized in like I don't know what movie it was, but when like he turns like crazy and stuff, and like
Oh,
he's
right,
Oh, and it's kind of
like,
when he's like really skinny and he's in that like
Yeah.
suit, and it's just like he looks so tiny, but then his head just
His head
makes
is
it
huge.
massive
Yeah.
when you get that skinny.
Yeah. He did. I mean, I think it was CGI. I think he said like.
Oh
in an
yeah,
interview.
they would never make
I
that.
mean, no offense, I'd hope so.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
It was for like 2 scenes. He had to be that skinny, so they just CGI'd him.
I don't think it was Catching Fowls. It was the third one.
It was the Mockingjays that he was like really skinny.
I don't know why I remember those movies. I don't even like.
It actually pains me to think about. Those films make me cry.
They don't make me cry. The whole time watching it, I'm like, Katniss, get a grip. Get a grip. Because the whole time, everyone's like, so to save the whole of society, you have to do this. And she's like, but what about Peter? But Peter's here. Don't like Peter anymore. But what about my sister? My sister's here. Whatever. Like, the whole time, I'm like, girl, get a grip. Please. It really,
Me
like,
and Lily are just like,
yeah.
what's your opinion now?
I'm
This is
not
my channel. I'm allowed to say it. When I'm on other people's channels, I try not to like insult the Hunger Games because I don't want to anger people. But it's my channel. We're allowed to hate on it.
My channel.
I have an unpopular opinion on the Hunger Games. I actually like Mockingjay. Like I liked both
Thank
the
you.
movie and first like book. I really like it. Like it's a satisfying conclusion, and I like how it's like away from
I love Mockingjay, so I'm with
The only
you.
bit I will always forever laugh at is the fact that in the film it's just so, like the very end.
Oh,
really
God,
makes me laugh.
no. I turned the film off before the epilogue in the film.
Right?
It's too,
First time I was like, huh?
it's like some like Christian fan. Like, I don't even know, but it's some weird. It gives me weird vibes. Like it just gives me the weirdest vibes.
But I love that film.
No, I love it. I just turn it off when she says real. I just turn the film off. I'm like, we don't talk about the epilogue.
Exactly. I was like, right.
We were talking about Josh Hutcherson's head.
I should.
Sorry, that confused
Sad.
We were just talking about the squareness of Josh Hutcherson's head.
It's very square. Nothing. I'm not saying it as an insult or a...
It's just flat.
in Bridge to
It is an observation more than it is.
Everyone's got a shape. Like everyone's head has a shape. Mine's quite oval. Like it's quite long.
Yeah, mine's quite long.
Mm.
I don't know.
Mine's just large.
Mine's like my forehead. Oof.
Oh yeah, my forehead's like my biggest insecurity. Like, I shouldn't say that on the internet now. Shouldn't say that on the internet.
Gotta give a hate comment now.
Yeah, it's gonna have to block that on my comments. Be like,
That's all right. I'm just gonna always comment, Mel, you've got such a beautiful forehead. It's my favourite feature.
Exactly.
No, it's just like it's one of those things where do you know when you just like you see yourself in a picture and you're like, why is it? And if I wore wigs or if I had like straight hair, I probably would get a fringe, but I don't. So I'm just like, look, you just gotta have to live with it because you ain't gonna get a wig anytime soon, and you don't have straight hair, so just deal with it. Start loving it. So that's a journey I'm on, guys. Self-love, guys.
Yeah, we love that.
Okay, we're gonna actually start reading in 4 minutes. We were gonna read at 1:15, but then we started talking about Justin.
Did you guys like why is this Songbirds and Snakes, like that book? Because I feel like that's a dividing line because I actually enjoyed it. Like I don't know if like anyone else enjoyed it or not.
So I overall like I don't think it's perfect. I remember a lot of people. The thing is, I remember a lot of people going into it, and they were like, "This was like so unnecessary," and I'm like, "Well, it's a prequel. It's not necessary."
Yeah.
I don't know. That was like my thing. But like I mean, it's like really uncomfortable. But I don't know. I think there's issues with it, and I understand people's criticisms of it. But I overall liked it. I have mixed feelings about it. I think I need to reread it. I read it in like 2 days. I don't think.
Yeah, I read it really quickly as well. Like
I don't
I
think
just don't have any interest in it.
that's fair.
Yeah. I'm quite happy with the original trilogy.
Mhm.
I'll reread Mockingjay when I would like to destroy my soul.
Yeah. To be honest, it's like really uncomfortable being in that man's head for like 500
Yeah,
years.
but like I love villains, so I
Yeah.
was just eating it up. Like every uncomfortable moment, I was like, "Yes, give us like
To be
villain."
fair, I'm with you. Like, give me a villain origin story. Like, this is why I love Vicious by V. Schwab. I'm like, I
Oh,
love
I love Vicious.
I
Have
love
a
it.
one, Bo,
Vicious
because
is
I'm
great.
scared I won't like it.
But I just have no interest in the Bowders. I can't even get the title out of my mouth.
It's such a mouthful, and I was saying that on my channel for like a whole month. And I was just like,
It makes no sense though, because all the other titles for the actual trilogy are quite short. So just make the title short. Like with Midnight Sun, which is the prequel 10-year anniversary thing that I read last year. Because I have taste, guys. Like that kind of coincides with the rest of the thing.
I mean, I agree with you. I remember when the title and cover were revealed for Ballad, and I remember everyone being like, the title's very YA name generator, which is true.
Yeah.
But I remember everyone being like, the cover's really ugly. And I'm like, all of the covers are ugly. I don't know if this is new information to you.
Like the original trilogy.
Yeah, all the original trilogy covers.
I like them.
I like
It
them.
depends,
I like
like,
them,
it
but they're
depends
not.
what ones you're discussing about. If you're talking about ones that are like all black with like the little symbol on, they're stunning.
No,
If
they're
you're on
not.
about like the ones they were originally
Yeah,
released
the
in, them
original,
really
Oh, yeah,
ugly ones.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The original,
Yeah, they're ugly.
the original American hardbacks are ugly, and then they brought the new cover out to match those because I think they assumed everyone owned them in that. All Americans own them in that. But what's confusing to me is that they brought out the UK edition to match the American hardbacks, which we never had. So it was like, I don't know.
Lily's like bit sus, if you ask me.
I just sometimes like think books come into the shops like different editions, and I'm like, what was going through people's what was going
I
on?
get the ones when they watch those, and I'm surprised they have certain editions, and I'm like, I wasn't even aware this edition was in England. Like, when did it enter the country? Who vetted this? Like,
we just get what comes from the hub and from the wholesalers. I don't know.
it's very strange. No, but sometimes it's like that. Yeah.
I just unpack the boxes and put them on the shelves. I don't have anything to do with it really.
Okay, guys, we are going to start reading. Should we start reading now instead of like?
Yeah, I'm not.
Wait.
I don't mind it being.
Oh, we started
a minute.
Shall we do half an hour until 9?
Half an hour is good.
Okay. Mute yourselves and start reading. Hello. How did everyone do? How many pages did everyone read?
I did like 35 pages, I think.
Good.
So like
Yeah.
9% of my ebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did like around 25.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mine's a pretty quick
How
way
you
book, so I'm
doing?
kind of.
That's the one about the Japanese internment camps, right?
Yeah.
Is it good? Because I want to read that one as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting though. Like I think she's like very talented because every chapter is from a different like character, and every new character I come across, like their voice is so distinct. Like it's like written it's not in first person, but they all have their very distinct voices. So yeah, it's funny. Like it's not funny, but like she keeps like there'll be moments where it seems like they're almost normal. Like that this chapter started off like they were going to a baseball game, and like they were like, oh yeah, we're just going to a baseball game at this other school, like whatever. But then like the scene ends when they're trying to get some ice cream from this local shop, and like the guy won't serve them and tells them to get out and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's a hard read for sure, but it is. Oh yeah.
Dee, how are you enjoying your book?
Well, it's coming to the end now, and like I think I'm so happy that it's coming to the end because like it's such I don't know why if it's just a subject matter or something, but like I just was not I was enjoying the book, but at the same time I was almost like hating the book as well because like I was trying to understand all these different concepts and like I feel like I need to digest this book like when I've finished it to see what was the author's intent and what is just me being like a dumb bitch, you know. So I am enjoying it. I'm happy that I'm getting towards the end because like questions are being answered and stuff like that.
By the way, hi mom. This is my mom.
Hi, Mel's mum.
Hi, Malcolm.
Molly, how did you do?
I read like 31 pages. Yeah, it's good so far. It's like just starting to like.
Yeah. So
How's
12 pages.
How's Legendborn?
Oh yeah. So I finished the manga and I gave it like 3.5 stars. It's interesting. And then I'm only like on page 25 of Legendborn, and it's all right. Like I don't know, because I'm only on 25, so it's like it's really hard to like gauge then. But I will say it's like I expect it to be a 5-star because when I first received the book, I read the first page and I had to force myself to not continue on because the writing's really good. But I think it's just like the writing, the actual physical writing is like the font is really tiny.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's so cool.
It's so small, and it's like I did this morning. I tried listening to the audiobook and I'm not a big fan of the audiobook. I've been really picky with my audiobooks lately because I last year I basically didn't read a fantasy book if it wasn't with an audio. I don't want to do that this year. But then the audiobook, I don't know what it was. Like the voice actress was fine, but it was like stilted. So it was like it felt like I had to like chop it after every sentence, and it was just distracting me, and I was like, no. So I'm just gonna try and read it by myself and just hope that my eyes don't burn from trying to focus on the tiny writing. But it's good so far. I mean, like nothing much has happened. Like it just when we stopped, like something interesting was happening. But like I mean, that means I'm excited to get back to it. But I don't know. I'm excited to get to it though. Like I feel like it's gonna be like a favourite of the year. Like I don't know. I just have high hopes. Hopefully they're not too high. Just high hopes. Catch and Kill. I don't know what that book is. Everyone always reads books that I have no clue.
I know. I can see the cover. Like I can see it in the shop. Like where we put it in the shop. I can't. I have this with books. Like I can see like where we put them in the shop, but I can't tell you what it's about. But I know the cover.
Is it like a YA or is it an
Oh,
adult?
it's
Or...
I think
Yeah.
is it non-fiction? It might be fiction, but I know the hardback was in like the front of our shop. That's all I can think of.
It sounds like a thriller. Like,
Yeah, I think it's a thriller.
Yeah.
Maybe it's definitely like a crime. I just can't remember if it's true crime or
I
fiction.
just looked up on Goodreads, and there's like 3 different books called Catch and Kill, so I could be any one of them.
Is it Ronan? No.
The Ronan one, that was the first one that came up. Ronan Farrow.
Yeah, that's the one I know. Jazz might be reading something different. But...
I have never seen it. Oh yeah,
Ronan Farrow.
Yes, there we go.
Oh.
Why had I never got that? It was about Harvey Weinstein from the
Okay, that's not TV now.
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's got Emily May gave it 5 stars, so it's probably good. Yeah. Oh,
I thought that was what it was about. I think I'd assumed it was like a true crime book.
It does look like quite thriller-y. I don't know if you'll see it there, but it looks quite like...
looking at the cover, I wouldn't say it was about Harvey Weinstein.
No, I didn't get that it was about Harvey Weinstein.
But that sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's how it is.
The Way of Kings and City of Ashes. I was about to say, what City of Ashes? And I realised it was Cassandra Clare. I was like, oh, yes.
Good luck with Way of Kings, because that's a whole brick. I was supposed to start that like last year, and it's a brick. I just couldn't.
Like, there's a reason those books are split into 2 like volumes.
Well, so that's not even reading; that's rereading.
No.
Oh my gosh.
And rereading The Way of Kings and City of Ashes.
Oh my god.
That's commitment, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
New people, let everyone hold up what you're reading. I'm reading Legend Born by Tracy Dion.
Lily can't hold hers up.
I'm reading We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi, which is a YA historical fiction book.
And I'm reading Loat, which is an adult fiction book.
I said it reads like a thriller. That's interesting to know.
Oh,
I kind of like that though. Like, even though obviously it's important to remind yourself it is real, it will make it easier to get through.
Yeah.
See, that sounds interesting because I remember I had to stop reading Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter because it felt too real.
Right.
Because basically I started reading it January last year, and that was when I think the Prince Andrew thing, as well as the Harvey Weinstein thing, was like really circulating, and the Epstein thing and everything, and like it deals with like the thriller element of that book is similar to that kind of thing.
Because I want to read Karen Slaughter, and that was like one of the ones I was eyeing up.
But no one ever says that's what it's about, and everyone just goes, "Oh, it's really dark."
I just heard it was dark. Like, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the subject matter either.
Exactly. So it's that thing where basically the thriller element is that these girls are being kidnapped and then used for unsavory videos, just so anyone here would like to know, because it literally gave me nightmares, and I was really enjoying it as well. Like, I was literally like, I was loving the writing and the actual thriller element, but then because of everything that was in the news, and then I was like reading that, and then I would go to bed and I would have nightmares.
It was probably just poor timing though, Mel. Like, fair enough, it's dark, but like you said, when you were reading it, it was when everything was like happening anyway, so it's like you couldn't really get away from it and like escape it.
Like, that's what I said because I read it for a video, and I said in the video, I was like, if I had read this, like, because I'm not someone who really gets like triggered by really dark stuff, and like I'm usually able to do that, and I was like, if I had read this even like a year ago or a few years ago, I probably would have been fine, just been like, oh, this is a bit dark, but like because it was just so fresh, you know, it's just a lot. But on my like 20 years, I probably don't. But it was really good.
King of Scars.
That's the Lee Bradley. Yeah. I need to read soon.
I want to read Rule of Rules, but I'm like, I don't want to reread King of Scars. So I'm just hoping that someone's done a like recap somewhere, so I can just. I remember the ending, but I can't remember what happened really. So I'm hoping I'll just be able to go into the new one.
I only want to read like Shadow and Bone, like that's the whole trilogy, to know who Nikolai is, because if like everyone loves Nikolai, I'm like, oh, who's Nikolai? Like that's the only reason why I'd like read both.
I need you to know though, because I didn't know, right? So I was reading it and I was like, when's Nikolai going to come in? He doesn't come in until the second book. I was reading the first book and I was like, when does Nikolai come in? And then everyone was like, no, he's not in the first book. And I was like, but you all
What, in Shadow and Bone?
He's not in Shadow and Bone.
Yeah, I know.
Shadow and Bone, and like Nikolai wasn't even in there, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna.
I'm on the second one now, so I'm like, yeah, I'm reading that. I'm gonna listen to it when I can actually listen to something again.
The audiobook's actually really good. I listened to the audiobooks last year. I have videos of me reading each of the books if anyone wants to watch them, but like
no, I don't.
I really like the audiobooks, so
I never heard audiobooks. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, they're all on Audible.
Yeah, I don't think I could get through it just physically reading it. I'd have to listen. I DNF Siege and Storm last year, but I physically want to read all three just so I can move on to Six of Crows, because I'm that person that I'm like, I have to read things in order. Yeah. I can't just be like, I don't need to read those three, but I do. It's funny. It's going to be painful, but I need to read them if I want to read Six of Crows.
It's funny. When I read Grisha, I almost feel like everyone had been like, oh, they're not very good. So I read them and I was like, it's a fun time. Like, it wasn't like spectacular, but I was like, this is fun. It's not great, but it's fun.
Yeah, but that's when you go into it thinking that. Yeah. But I read Ninth House first. Stuff, and I loved it, and it's like one of my favorite books. So then to go back and read like the Grisha trilogy, I'm like, oh.
It's also like very 2012. Like, it's very it's so time.
But like that's kind of what I like, because I like last year or the year before, like I read like all of Holly Black's books, like all in the Fae series, in order until the release of Queen of Nothing, and the first 3 books in that world are hot trash, but like they were published in 2006. They're a fun time. Like they're like one of my go-to recommendations, like if you're just going through like a lot of stressful stuff and you just want something that's just so easy to watch. Like it's like basically like when you watch like a Hallmark movie, you don't watch it because it's quality filmmaking, you watch it because it's fun and stupid, and you're like, pretty people doing pretty people things, like let's just read it, you know. And that's what, like, when I read like books published 2012 further on, like that's like what I go into it knowing, and just go, right, it's gonna be crap, but we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, no, I understand if you like Ninth House was your first Leigh Bardugo and then you went back, because Shadow and Bone was my first Leigh Bardugo, so I feel like I did it so that she got better, like as I read the books, kind of thing.
See, I kind of wish I did that as well, but like I kind of like when I went, because I read Ninth House first, and I remember when I met her, I was like, yeah, this is my first book, where she was like, oh, that's one to start off with. I was like,
oh dear.
But like like the way where she is in Ninth House and where she was with like Shadow and Bone, world of difference. Like such a
right, like, and I think that's the hardest part, because obviously, like, I have to remember Shadow and Bone's YA, Ninth House is adult. I have to remember that, but also you can really tell that Ninth House was released in 2019 and that Shadow and Bone was released when it was. Like, you can really tell it was almost written for the time.
But the thing is, you can see her influence on the YA.
Scene, sure.
Like her whole thing with like the Darkling, it's like now everyone basically just wants every main character to be with their equivalent of the Darkling, and which is like what I want. Like, I just hope they change the TV show so she ends up with the Darkling. I don't care about Mal. I'm like, Mal can go away.
I'm intrigued to see what the show's gonna be like. The trailer does look good. Like, it looks like they spent money on that show.
Yeah. It also looks like I'm apprehensive because just Netflix in general, like some of their stuff.
It's hit or miss, isn't it? Like some of it is, no.
Really much. I hate for that. I didn't even watch it. I just saw like clips of it online, and I was like,
Which one?
The Winx Club one.
Oh, I know.
Everyone says that's hot trash.
I never read that, but I've heard it's hot trash.
I loved that show when I was a kid. I was obsessed, and I used to get the DVD from the library. And then I heard they were doing it. I was like, oh, cool. And then, and now they're trying to do the same thing. Not Netflix, but like CBS or somewhere. Like, they're trying to do the same thing with Powerpuff Girls. I'm like, you do not touch the Powerpuff Girls.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. And then they make it weirdly sexual. I'm like, they're 6. They're 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
Do not make it weirdly sexual, please. Like, they're 6.
Like, I just want, like, I would have actually watched like the Winx Club thing if they were like properly just like magical. Do you know what I mean? Like that, or like feminine, like all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want no gritty Riverdale.
It's like it's like, imagine what they did if they did like Sailor Moon or something. It's like,
yes,
like they would do the same thing with Sailor Moon. It's like, imagine, like, the whole point of the show is a cartoon for children, right? The whole point of the show, it needs to be like high concept, high color, and it's like, and then they also like changed some of the characters' like identities and stuff, and it was already quite a diverse show for the time. Why are you doing this? This is bizarre.
Yeah. I just wish they'd stop remaking things and trying to remake them in weird ways. It's like, just come up with new ideas. Like, please, just
adapt a book, please. Got plenty of books. I've got plenty on my shelf, Netflix, I'll give you some books. Read some books, please.
I know, that's what's so bizarre to me, is I feel like they're not adapting books the way they used to adapt books. And like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like rehashing old things, and I'm like, there's so much good stuff now. Like, there's so much better stuff you can adapt now.
Exactly.
Like, you could adapt something much better than After.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say anything about To All the Boys I've Loved Before, because I love that show, but like, it is trash. You know what I mean? But it's like one of those films where it's like, it's good trash.
Yeah.
It's just fluffy. I love it. Fluffy.
It's actually like a good film. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a cute little romance, but it's like objectively a good film.
It's kind of like low-key. Again, I won't lie, I'm kind of obsessed with The Kissing Booth, but like, again, it's one of those like hot trash films where it's like, okay, like, I kind of just need something to like easy watch, but then like there's a difference between like kind of good trash and like just like it's just bad.
Sometimes they do it. You can tell when they do it for the money as well. Like, you can tell, and it's like they keep going through these cycles where it's like Divergent, Twilight, and Hunger Games were all actually very well-made films. You can say what you want about them, but like in general, they were well-made films.
Oh yeah.
About them, and then they started making stuff about like random books that just happen to be on the New York bestsellers, and you can tell the people don't care about it. And then you see the same thing happening with Riverdale. Like, Riverdale's bad now, but when it started, you could tell the people involved genuinely cared about the show and wanted it to be good, because the first season was good, and then they continue on with it, and now they're doing like all these other shows that are just rip-offs that make no sense.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Like, I used to work in a cinema, and we like did a count, and we were like trying to work out how many films were like remakes, like adapted from a book. We were trying to basically see like how many were actually like new original film ideas, and there were like 4 in the year that I worked there that were like new original films that were not adapted from a book or in some way, or like a remake or something. It was wild, like how much are just like rehashes or whatever. Obviously, adapting from a book is like fine, but it's just like, it's like you say, Mel, as well. Like, I feel like they choose random books to get adapted and then don't put the money into it. Like, they don't put the time and work into it, and then it's like they're like, oh, it flopped, and it's like, yeah, but you didn't put like the effort in. So.
The one that always annoys me is The Fifth Wave. The Fifth Wave. I read that book, and I kind of enjoyed that book. I thought it was a good book, and then they changed it. And they made it more of a romance than the book was. And the book has a romance in it, but there's like this speech that the alien guy in it has that she falls in love with, that's about the politics of the aliens as to why they invaded Earth. And then in the film, they change it so he's just like, I love you so much, I may have lied to you. And it's like, that's not the point of the book. Like, that scene is supposed to be the whole thesis of the movie. Like, what?
Also, the Percy Jackson And I think that's all we have to say on that one.
I mean, okay, I want to say though,
There's a reason there was only two.
There's a reason there were only two. I won't lie, I actually got into Percy Jackson because I saw the film.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Good. Really enjoyed the first one. The Sea of Monsters, trash.
Trash. I paid money to see that in the cinema.
Oh, Lily.
Clown behaviour. Yeah. I liked the first film. As an adaptation, it's not the best, but like it's a fun film. Like it has some good stuff. Like the scene in the casino is fun.
Shadowhunter movie versus Shadowhunter show.
I have things to say. Right. Okay. Here's the thing, right? So I found out about City of Bones, right? Where like just as the movie was coming out, I think it, like my Kindle had recommended it to me, and to me I was like, oh, this is really Twilight, because for me Twilight was the thing that I did with my mom. Like me and my mom would always read the books and like go watch the film. So I was like, this is a new franchise that me and my mom can go and see. So I read the book in like a day, loved it. Was like, Mom, we're gonna go watch this movie. Lily Collins is in it, love her. Let's go watch it. The guy from Misfits is in it, love him. Let's go watch it. Like, and we went and watched it. And then what annoys me is they just. Like the film overall, I think is actually an alright adaptation. Has the aesthetics down, the plot down, acting down, great. And then at the end, they reveal like a weird twist. They reveal a twist that's supposed to be throughout the first 3 books, right? And I was like, this is what ruined the movie for me. I was like, why have you revealed this in the first movie when it's supposed to be part of the 10th? Like, it made no sense.
But it is revealed at the end of the first book, right? Like,
no, it was.
I saw it was at the end of the first book, because in the second book they spent the whole time. Can we say what the twist is? Because everyone's read it. Everyone knows.
Yeah, the twist is that they're not brother and sister. Yeah.
That's at the end of the first book, Mel.
They say
so it's not.
Why do you do that?
At the end, because what annoyed me when I read the Shadowhunter books in 2011 was I remember reading the first book and being like, okay, they're brother and sister, that's fucking weird. And then there was the second book where there's all the tension between them. I was like, this is fucking weird. And then the third book, and she's like, oh, they're not actually brother and sister. And I was like, what was the point? Like, why did you do that?
No. What I'm saying is, in the movie, they reveal that they're not brother and sister. So in the books, they had the brother and sister thing, but they didn't reveal that they were brother and sister, because then they added in the perspective of the villain in the movie, and he said that thing. I was like, let's lie to them about them being brother and sister, and I was like, but isn't it supposed to be a mystery?
I have watched the film, but I can't remember. Like, it was so long ago, I can't remember what happened at the end.
It was really weird. I just think they just made it so strange. But for the most part, I liked the movie. Like, I thought it was good.
I remember the movie.
I know why I don't know. It's because if people that have never read the books would watch the movie, they wouldn't go back if they then find out that the love interest are related. They'd be like, well, why would I see the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do get it. Like, it was like a move on behalf if you were, planning to make more, but you didn't.
But it's like I think they just revealed too much, and it was like, I swear they revealed something else. Like, they did too much with the villain, and I was like, no, just do the actual book, please. Like, don't. And then the TV show is just the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So that's not.
I never watched the TV show. I only watched the film.
And they changed too much in the TV show as well. I was like, no.
I just remember the internet freaking out when Alec and Magnus had the wedding scene kiss thing. I remember that.
See, that's why I would have watched it, but I was also like, no, not worth it. Like, the writers didn't read the whole series. That's what I'm saying. Like, they revealed things that the writers. Like, it just made no sense. And it's like, with a series, you're supposed to have like threads that bring people back in for more. So I get revealing like the sister thing, but I think they revealed some other stuff as well. I was like, why are you doing that? Because now the whole plot's revealed. Like, you can't. No one's gonna come back for more. And the cast for the movie was actually like solid.
That's probably why they didn't make more.
I remember with the movie, like. I remember, because I was like really in online fandom spaces at the time, I remember people were really anticipating it. And I remember like the media kept thinking it was like the new Hunger Games, like, because Hunger Games, I think Catching Fire was coming out the same year. And so people were like, oh, this is going to be the new thing.
I thought everything was going to be the new Hunger Games. Like, come on,
This is true.
Right?
This
Isn't
is
that the
true.
thing? It was like a selling point. It got to the
It
point where it was
really
like,
was.
fans of the Hunger Games.
No, I know, but I think people thought it had a shot because City of Bones did have the same kind of popularity as Hunger Games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was also very popular, but the film wasn't as well made. So, like,
But it's also like people don't realize that. Yes, people who read YA, especially back then when YA wasn't as big a genre, right? Yes, people think there are these things like would like them, but the Hunger Games. You think of the Hunger Games and the themes of the Hunger Games and what it talks about versus City of Bones, which is about.
But it's not even just that. It's like it's exactly that point, Lily. People go, oh well, the Hunger Games was so popular, so we don't need to put in as much effort. People will go to see it just because it's in the same sort of like realm. People that have read the Hunger Games have read City of Bones. They'll go see the film.
I will say, because I followed the Hunger Games film promotion from when they cast the films to that was released. They did a lot of promo. Like they were doing promo for it like a year before. Like they had released images like 10 months before. Like they were doing a lot of press. Like they built up the hype quite well, I think. In terms of like a promotional kind of thing. I don't know. So I'm not a marketing person, but like,
I just think they're different things though. Like, do you know what I mean? In terms of like when I think of the Hunger Games, I think of comments on capitalism, talks about teenage identities like that. And then when I think of like City of Bones, I think it's an urban fantasy about teenagers falling in love while fighting demons. Like I think they're very different things.
They are very different.
Yeah. So it's like they're different audiences. So like to me, it's like the kind of YA stuff films that I like was City of Bones, and I love the Beautiful Creatures movie because I'm like a romance person. I like the stuff that's really romantic, and then other people will prefer the heavy dystopian, heavy themes, like political kind of stuff. With what Hunger Games is, and Hunger Games is like very specific in terms of what it is as well. So
I agree.
When half the books out by that point.
There were, I think the last of the Mortal Instruments books wasn't out yet. I think City of Heavenly Fire wasn't out.
She gets woken up in City of Ashes, which is the third book. And they're very quick reads. Like, I read them all in, like, a day.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, these writers don't do their actual job. And, like,
no, they just think everything I need to know is going to be in that one book.
Yeah.
And they don't even read it themselves. They probably get one person to read it. Your job is to read the book and tell us what happens in that book. And then that's when they go, oh yeah, it's revealed that they're siblings. And they go, people won't watch a second film though if we see that.
it annoys me. Yes.
Facts.
It's like some people are always like.
I'll tell you another film that would have had really good potential. The Darkest Minds.
They did make a film, you know, Molly.
I know they did. That's what I'm saying. It had potential, and look at what they did to it.
I know.
I didn't like that book.
I didn't read it.
I DNF'd it. I couldn't get through it.
I didn't. I feel like I read YA like 2011, 2012, and then when I then went into sixth form in 2012, I kind of stopped reading YA around then, and that's when I feel like a lot of those kind of books came out. So I didn't read a lot of those like big series sort of 2012 to 2015. So I missed that.
Alexandra Bracken, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I get on with her writing. She keeps
I've heard some dodgy things about her new book. Like I've had some.
Yeah. Oh my God, Law. Yeah. And not a lot of people like that.
I've seen some gripes.
Well, I love it. I don't find
What are the issues with it? Because I'm not going to read it, so I don't really care.
I mean, I think Molly loved it. So Molly, you can
I don't care what anyone says. I love that book.
Well, I know Sam from Thoughts and
I haven't read it. I don't know. I just think
this is what I found with The Darkest Minds. Like, Darkest Minds just went on too long, and it was just really like flat for me. Like, I just didn't care, you know. Hey,
I don't know.
Yeah. It's annoying because I do love Greek retelling, but I just don't get on with her writing. So I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to spend the money and.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like Greek retellings, unless they're going to do something like really unique about it. I don't know. I just or especially in like adult fiction, there's all these like literary like retellings. I'm just bring something new, please. Like
yeah, I haven't.
So I had this as well, but I had it in a weird way. I had it where I went straight to Wattpad and new adult romances and Milton Boone books. I went from Twilight to Milton Boons and Wattpad, and then in 2015 I was like, oh, I shouldn't have been reading this. I should have been reading The Hunger Games and Divergent. And so I went back, and then, but to be fair, I started straight away with Sarah J. Maas, so it wasn't like my taste changed. I just kind of went back to the genre. So.
I mean, I went back to YA then when I was like 19.
See, I actually read The Darkest Minds before I read Sarah J. Maas. Maybe that's why I liked it.
Maybe. See, that's the thing as well. It's like I feel like the stuff that I read when I was 12, I hadn't had anything to compare it to. So I feel like you could have handed me anything, and I would have been like, yeah. Like I only ever read half the first Percy Jackson book because I just was never handed it as a kid. So I tried. I've tried to read it many times, and I can never get through it. It's not that I don't like it. I just always read it when I'm in a slump, and then it's just like it just never pulls me out of the slump. So it's like it just has bad timing. It has bad luck.
I always
I'm trying.
I read Percy Jackson when I was like, well, people always talk about that. Like, oh, you have to read it when you're like young or whatever. So I read it when I was like 15 or 16, which is probably accurate. But like, I had a good time. Like, I was just like, okay, these books are like kind of young.
A good time.
Yeah, I did. I was like, these are fun. They're kind of young. But
I do have to say though, right?
They're fun.
I have only read the first Darkest Minds book. I haven't continued the trilogy. I've still got it. I have it in my head. I'm going to reread it. I'm not.
Yeah.
Fantasy romance books, yeah. I love a few fantasy romance books.
I want to read more fantasy romance books.
Me too.
Seem like the sweet spot. Like
I want to read that Grace Draven. Is it Grace Draven book that you mentioned now? What's it called?
Radiance.
Radiance, yeah.
I want to read that too. Everyone reads if you like fantasy romance, read from Blood and Ash. It's great.
Read from who?
From Blood and Ash. It's a great time.
I've seen so many people talk about it, but I don't.
I'm scarred.
Although it is.
Jennifer, I read a really. His thing with her, I read her contemporary YA romance, and I'm scarred because that book was racist. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
It was. So I read it was The Problem with Forever or something like that, right? And it's about this. It's this YA contemporary, and it's about this girl and this guy. And when they were like 5, they had like bad homes, and like now they're like in the care system. And she got adopted, and think he's still in care. And like now they grow up, and she goes to like a new school, and it turns out to be his school, and it's like all that. And I was reading this book, and I was like, generally like, oh, it's okay, like it's a basic YA contemporary, but there's something about it that's putting me. I don't know what's about this that's really like rubbing me the wrong way. And then I realized after I read a review, the first thing I read about it was all the characters in it are Latinx, apart from the main 2 characters who are white. And then all the Latinx characters are the most like obnoxious stereotypes of the culture that like they're literally like getting shot because of drug cartels and shit. Like it's it's weird. And like other than that, it's like just a normal YA contemporary romance. But then it's like and it's also like to have like a whole cast of characters that are people of color, and then just to send over 2 white people. Like they're literally the only 2 white people in that book. I know it just rubbed me the wrong way. I did like Half-Blood. I read that before I read the other one. But like it's just like one of those things where it's like I just can't get past it. Like like I do like want to read it from Blood and Ash, but like when I read that I was like like it just I'm scarred for that. So but she is one that I had wanted to get into. Yeah. You were 18 when Twilight came out.
That was a wild time for YA that time period. That was a.
See, I forget how Twilight's YA because my mum read it. That's the reason why I got into it, and my mum must have been like.
How old were you when you read
Six?
Twilight? Like,
I watched the movie before I read it. So I watched the movie in 2000, the first one in 2008 when it came out, and then when I started high school, I was 11 when I read the books for the first time. But I'd already seen the movies like so many times. I could literally recite lines from it.
Yeah.
Like I was
only because I know Meg from Meg with Books read Twilight when she was like 8 or something, like 8 or 9, and like whenever she says that, I'm always like, you are so young.
Well, I was like most people when I was reading it, most people were like, yeah, I read that when I was in year 6, and I was like, well, I'm reading it now, okay, leave me alone. Like, and that was like the biggest point.
Showing up.
Hmm?
I've never read it, nor do I ever intend to.
Yeah, me too.
It's trash. What me too. It's
so
trash.
valid.
That's a part that I'm like, you know what? People will talk about it more if I don't go.
Okay, people want to sprint. Let's sprint. Shall we sprint until how long shall we sprint till?
Quarter past?
4 past.
Yeah. Okay. We'll sprint. Hello. How do we all do?
I've read nothing.
That's okay.
I have about 3 pages left.
I read 11% of your ebook, so I think like 40 pages.
Good. I got to page 39. Yeah, it's page 39. Not a lot, because I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm at that weird point in a fantasy where, like, I can't tell if I'm just not getting it, or if I just need to give it time before I can get it. But I think I want to give it until at least page 50. And then if not, I realise my brain is just not in it right now. And I can just go to different books. But like I am enjoying what I've read so far. We just had, oh my god, sorry, this one. I just got this the other day. Just to figure it out.
For Legend Born, I was like enjoying it. I thought it was okay, and then it got to the middle of the book, and then I was like, yeah, I'm invested in it now. So that might just be the case for you as well. But it took me to the actual middle of the book to be like, okay, I understand now. So yeah.
Because like this first magic scene, my brain just like, what's going on? Like, and like I kind of get, because the main character is also like, what's going on? Because she's just like witnessing magic for the first time. But like at the same time, I'm a bit like, maybe my brain's not in it, like, you know. So and then I just got to the bit like with the racist cop. That scene, and it really. You know, so like I just like wasn't expecting that scene straight away. I was like, oh my god, it's really annoys me. But you know, realism. 10.5 pages of House of Leaves. That is very impressive. Well done. Oh god.
Yeah, my book was getting like really intense. Like there was some, I don't know, there's just a lot happening in it, and I was like, but we stopped at a good point. I feel like I need to like decompress a little bit.
Yeah,
but it is. Very,
it's very heavy, isn't it? Like that's the thing with books like that; they're quite heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy, and it is like I was like thinking as I was reading it, she's done it in this way where it's like kind of how they do it with these like internment camps, where like, you know, it starts off and it's like it's very insidious, and it starts off and it's not quite what it seems, and then it gets worse and worse and worse as the book goes on, and that's how it's going. So yeah, but it is like well done, definitely. And there's pictures. She includes like pictures from like, the e-arc is very well formatted, and it has like pictures from the time period in it, so it like is helping helping the visualization of it a bit more.
Yeah, that's interesting. I definitely want to pick that one up. It seems really good. So we've got 35 pages of Way of Kings. Again, very impressive. 24 pages of Mary. That's another one that's on my list. I need to.
Yeah, that one's really good.
I'm trying to get more into middle grade, because I think I'm like at that age where I can really appreciate middle grade. So Amari is one that's kind of like, as soon as I can get it, it's definitely going on my list.
Not middle grade, like in hardback though, because I'm just waiting for Mario to be in paperback and then like buy it straight away. It was
like hardback is stunning though. Like,
yeah, I know, but I like if I give a hardback of the first one, I'm going to want the hardback of like all the series. I just don't want that commitment like that.
But then again, if they are all like this first one, I'm happy with that. Like I ordered mine off Amazon, so I was not expecting like anything special. Mine's got silver glittery sprayed edges.
Ooh.
I was like,
I am a sucker for like pretty sprayed edges.
Especially when they're a surprise, you know, like you haven't ordered a special edition that's like, oh, sprayed edges. It just came and I was like,
Yeah.
I had that with Addie LaRue because I got Addie LaRue for my birthday, and it was just like the Amazon copy that Maria got me, and I wasn't expecting it to be like the naked hardcover to be like so stunning. And it's because it had like so many special editions. I was like, well, the normal edition won't be that special, but like then that edition was like, oh.
Yeah, even I think almost like even the standard edition of it is pretty. Like, they really went hard for it. In terms
What's the subscription? I think is it like Fairy Loot who like always brings out the most like beautiful like special editions. I'm like,
Fairy Loot especially, and like Illumicrate do very pretty editions as well.
The day I can get my hands on a special edition Fairy Loot of Kingdom of the Wicked, just for those like lace sprayed edges, I will be a happy gal.
Yeah, they do such pretty editions, and like Forbidden Planet sometimes does really nice editions as well. Actually,
yeah.
I never shop on Forbidden Planet, and I feel like I actually ordered my first thing from them a few weeks ago because it's the old guard. The old guard, the volume 3 of the old guard, the issues are starting in April, and I'm not waiting 3 years for the third volume. Like they took so long to get between the first two, so I was like, let me just get the single issues. So I've ordered that for the first time, and like probably based on that, I'll try and like order more on like Forbidden Planet. I'm just like diversify where I buy my books from, because like for the past year it's just been like Amazon. It's like it's just too easy, and it's like I'm trying to be like obviously like with the panoramic and everything, like instant gratification is basically what I've been wanting. But no,
I've never ordered from Forbidden Planet, but when I used to live in London, and then when I have been back up to visit, I always like go to the big one, like near Leicester Square or wherever it is.
I've never been to that one.
I mean, like the graphic novel section and like the mangas. Does it have a manga section? I just think it does. But the graphic novel section is very cool. Like it's very expansive. Very cool.
Yeah, like I should go because I like graphic novels and manga and like nerdy stuff, but like I just never make the effort.
That one is especially very busy. I went to one in Birmingham that was a bit nicer because it was like quiet.
There's one in Manchester too, which like never seems to have that many people in, but like
the one in London,
I just never ended up going there.
The one in London, because it's like it's in like the theatre district, so it's like quite touristy. A lot of people end up going in as well.
See, that's the thing. So it's like it's annoying because it's like I've lived in London since 2018 now, and like but I've lived like just outside of it. So it's like I get like the overground, but like it's like just outside of it. So it's like this really annoying thing where I wish I had a bit more time to go and do all the big things that I want to do, but like also like I am here for uni. I need to focus on uni. I don't have time, and it's like I was on a part-time job, and then it's like then like lockdown happened. I couldn't do anything. But like it was really annoying because in January last year, me and my roommate, we actually started making an effort of going to like different bookshops. So like I took her to Gates and Word for the first time. Went to Persephone Books. Like we actually like went to these bookshops. I was like, I'm making an effort. Like every weekend we should go somewhere new. And then lockdown happened, and she had to go back to Texas. And I went back to Manchester. And I'm like, oh, I guess that project's done. But you know, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting tired. And I need to get a good night's sleep because I have a meeting tomorrow early in the morning. So I think we should end it in a few minutes just to wind things down. I know someone's just joined. I'm sorry. I hope you're enjoying your book though.
That happens to me all the time. It's always when I'm like finishing the last sprint and like doing the tasks. It's like, oh, just try. What's everyone reading? I'm like, going soon.
Yeah.
I've heard about book. I've seen it quite a lot. The cover is so pretty.
Yeah, I've heard about a lot of that. I think the sequel is meant to be really good.
Is that the one with the knife?
I thought it's the one with the bunny.
The one with the bunny. It's like the really small novella by Nevo.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that one. Yeah. And then the second one's with the tiger. Don't know why I'm doing all these movies.
I had the sequel cover in my head with the tiger.
There's a lot of like books coming out that are like Empire, Empress, and then there's a lot of cities coming out as well. So it's like they all get confused in my mind. But I'm like, I think I'm a visual learner as well. Like I can't just know a title. I have to look at the cover and be like, ah, yes, you know,
Yeah,
I recognize that cover.
I'm
But,
such a cover person.
Yeah, there's a book that came out recently, like I think it's like based on Phantom of Opera, like called The Music of the Night or something, and like that cover is absolutely stunning. Like it was just on my TL. I was like, wow, like I need to look up this book. Yeah.
Yeah, the one with funny. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that is really pretty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's Phantom of Opera. So
Music of the Night. It looks really pretty. And you can see like the Phantom of the Opera, yeah.
Oh, I've seen this. I've seen this.
Yeah, I
think
have seen it, but I didn't.
I had to stop myself from buying it straight away because like I can't just be affording these like impulse buys, but like yeah.
Okay, that's going on the wish list. That looks good. I've never read a Phantom of the Opera retailer, but I've never seen it. I've never read it.
I've never seen it either.
Like you haven't seen like the movie or like the
I haven't seen anything of the Phantom of the Opera. Like I know it, but
I've got video essays on it, but I've not because I follow Lindsay Ellis, and I could just find her videos fascinating. So like I watched her videos on it, so I know it. Like I know what it's about, but I've just never seen it.
I've done that a few times where I'm like I haven't consumed this piece of media, but I've watched like a Lindsay Ellis video essay about it. My brother, he's so good, and my brother really likes her videos. So when I go, I haven't seen him in ages, but like when I used to go to visit him, like one of our bonding things is we'd sit down and watch a Lindsay Ellis video essay together. Because they're like movies, so we just sit and put it on and talk about it as we're going.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm just like settle down with some popcorn, time for a bit of Lindsay.
He showed me the whole
thing. Like I was like,
yeah, he showed me like all of her like Hobbit videos, and I was like, I've not seen them.
They're good videos. They're really good videos. She actually goes to New Zealand as well. I'm like,
I know. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, and it's like in her Notre Dame one, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, she's actually at Notre Dame, and it's like I wish like she probably just kind of tripped and was like, might as well do a video whilst I'm here. But like at the same time, I'm like, I wish I just had the organization skills to do things like that. You know, like the most I could do was read a book set in Italy whilst I was in Italy, and it was like one book.
I always mean to do that, to like read a book set like where I am, and I still always fail. Like when I went to the States like in 2019, I took a book with me that was set in Boston, and I meant to read it while I was in Boston, and then I didn't finish the other book in time, so I ended up reading the book set in Boston like in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's not what I was meant to be doing.
I think when I visit the States at some point in my life, because I probably will, I think I'm not gonna bring books, because I feel like as well when I go to America, I'm gonna be like, they have so many bookshops. Like
they do, but books are expensive there. Books are expensive there.
But I use books as souvenirs. Like I would like buy the book and be like, this is where I wrote. Like I'll write on it. Yeah, I read this book here, and this was a souvenir here, and I would like have it as like. I can get one book, or just have the book and I've read it, and once I've read it, I can get another book. But it has to be,
But just like I was shocked because like I'm so used to UK prices, and when I went there, like adult paperbacks are like $17 or $18 without tax, and then you like get to the counter and they add the tax on, and you're like.
Yeah, because like when I hear like people talk about like the book subscription boxes and everything, like, oh, this book would usually be like $30, and now it's like I'm like $30 for like okay.
But the most expensive books in the UK are normally like hardback history books. Some of them are 30 quid.
Yeah,
and that's because yeah, like most hardbacks are about 20. Like in the UK, it's only like history books that get expensive because there's a lot of research and pictures and stuff that go into them. So. But yeah, their books.
Okay. It's past, and I'm getting tired. So I think I'm going to end this here. Thank you everyone for coming. It wasn't so alive, but I just kind of wanted like a quick little thing. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed and got some reading done. And I'll see you guys another time. Bye.
Bye.